Richie Rich Show.
What's up, y'all? Oh, boy. Yeah, you know, I took the glasses off and I give the huff. It's not good news, man. Your boy Richie Rich is here. And I figured I'd make a video to get off my mind. I thought I would have good news to give my subscribers this week. You know, I thought I would, but it turns out I'm not. I got more bad news. Oh, well. Only reason I'm making this video because I'm being honest. And I believe people should learn from other people's mistakes. You kind of grow like that. I really live by the saying, a smart man learns from his own mistakes, but a wise man learns from the mistakes of others. So if I got to go through something, maybe you don't have to go through something. You know what I mean? And you can save yourself some disappointment and heartache. But this video is entitled Walmart OnBoarding, Lawrence, South Carolina. As some of my faithful subscribers would know, I actually did Walmart OnBoarding 2 years ago, and I didn't pass. I got held up on the pre-trip inspection, and I got held up on the backing. Okay, I prepared myself this time, right? I studied. I got a hold of. I'm in the comment section. I'm going to probably tag the driver who put up a pre-trip packet for everybody to see. That information is very useful. They still use that, sort of. His pre-trip video, the Walmart driver who posted it, maybe 2 years ago. Ironically, his name is Rich too. His pre-trip is kind of how they're doing it now, but they actually added some more stuff. Well, at least down here in Lawrence, South Carolina, they did. I don't know where he actually finished. I think he possibly might be out west or out Midwest. He probably did his onboarding out west. But as far as the South, they do things a little differently. I got here on Sunday down in Lawrence, South Carolina. Checked into the hotel. See, one thing about Walmart, they got money and they treat you well. As far as their accommodations, as far as their places they put you, they don't put you in a cheap motel like most of these companies do. They actually put you in something nice and modern and comfortable. So that's big points. Okay, I'm in Lawrence, South Carolina, and they had people. Excuse me, guys. Something falling here. They had people as far as Tampa, Florida, coming up here to do onboarding. So I guess this is like a regional area or something. And people were coming up for us, Florida. They had to drive up. I don't think anybody flew. Walmart pays mileage for driving. Checked in the hotel Sunday. Had to be at the training center at 7 o'clock in the morning on Monday morning. And before I get into what actually happened there, I'm going to say this. I'm going to tell you my thoughts about the whole thing. And I'm going to tell you my recommendations if Walmart will listen, which they're not. I mean, history has been written by the winners, not the people who lose, right? But I had a recommendation, something that maybe they could think about. It was discussed with the staff there. I just thought something was kind of weird, but I'll get to that in a moment. But on Monday morning, reported to the onboarding training center down in Lawrence, South Carolina. It's right off of 385 at the distribution center down here. And there's about 9 people in our class. So basically the first day, what you do is you get the presentation of Walmart. You know, they introduce you to the HR. They go over a few minimal policies. They tell you about the company. They tell you the benefits. I mean, listen here. Walmart is a great job to have. And I don't even work there. But if you look on the outside looking in, they have their own customer base, and they kind of demand, they demand freight from everybody. Like everybody services Walmart. So it's ideal to want to work for these folks. Their retirement's great. Their benefits are great. They treat their drivers very, very well. Not to be counting anybody's money, right? But they were just celebrating a guy who got 5 million miles or something like that. They got him a truck, his own personal truck. But the side conversation from that was he's been there for about 37 years. And they said they had a party for him and his family. And a couple of guys were like, I don't know why he doesn't just retire. And the conversation came up, well, what do you think his retirement is? And a couple of guys who are instructors were like, oh, he's a multimillionaire. He's a multimillionaire just from the stock purchasing and the 401k contributions. He's been in Walmart for 37 years, I think, or 36 years. So think about Walmart's 36-year, stock price. He's been buying it ever since, and he's still working. So that just tells you how great of a company Walmart is for some folks. I mean, it really is. One thing that I'm concerned about, right, as an individual is my exit game from trucking. Okay. I really came to a realization, right, that I really don't want to be an owner operator. And I'm going to touch on that probably in another video. I'm going to tell you my reasons why. And I think they're very valid. I think I'm a student of trucking for the last 12 years. So I think that what I'm about to say about being an owner operator is pretty valid and pretty solid. And it's evident today. I mean, you see all these trucking companies closing down, people literally being put out of jobs. So, for people who are not paying attention to the signs, those are signs. Now, some of you guys might disagree with that, right? And that's fine. You guys have your own opinions, but looking at the outside in, it doesn't look really good for future of trucking in certain situations. So going to Walmart would be ideal for a person like myself, okay? People who just want the stability and security of working for a corporation that treats their drivers right. So that's why I applied. And I figured I've been through OnBoarding once, and I kind of knew what they were expected. But when I got down here to Lawrence, South Carolina, they changed everything they did before. And I'm about to tell you. So day one, they just give you the spill of the company. And they give you this packet that gives you, let's see, I'll pull it out here. Give me a second. Here we go. They give you this packet here that gives you information about, what they expect and the requirements. This thing here. And it didn't look much too different from what I had last time. So I was pretty familiar with it. So before I came to OnBoarding, I actually started studying. And I recommend that anybody who's interested in coming to any kind of OnBoarding with Walmart should probably prep yourself 2 weeks in advance for as the pre-trip inspection. Start going over, the basic pre-trip inspection. Now, I know a lot of guys went to trucking schools that kind of pumped you out and just, didn't really do a thorough pre-trip inspection. But in the comment section, there's going to be a guy's YouTube I'm going to attach to it. I hope he doesn't mind. And I'm going to let you guys look at his pre-trip inspection. And he actually has the packet on there that you can download and kind of read off of it and go over it. I actually did that. So I knew I was really prepared for the pre-trip inspection, right? So the first day went by, we just pretty much did an introduction. What I was expecting Walmart to do is what they did last time. And what they did last time is on Monday, they took you out to the practice yard and they actually demonstrated what they wanted from you. As far as the pre-trip inspection and as far as the backing maneuver. They actually did it and they wanted to show you. Me personally, I thought that was a huge help when they used to do that. But they changed their policy about 3 months ago. And now they don't do that. Okay. What they do is hand you the information and they want you to figure it out yourself. I'm not going to lie. I don't really like that because there's a couple reasons why. You have to do things the Walmart way. Even though you're a professional driver or considered a professional driver to get in the door to Walmart, Walmart still has their own set of standards. Every company does. Every company has a policy or procedure how they want you to do things. And I think Walmart kind of forgot that. A lot of guys, especially if you're an owner operator or a lease operator, you have your way of doing things, and it does get the job done, right? But you have your way of doing things. Do you understand? Not the corporate way or the policy way of another corporation like Walmart. So let's go to day 2. Day 2, check out the hotel in the morning, go down to Lawrence, South Carolina. And my first obstacle was the driving. Now, I did the driving last time and I passed it. All right, I was fine. But this time, I failed the first time, and I was shocked for the reason. Here at Walmart, right, they take you down this Lawrence, South Carolina back roads and city right here. It's not a big city, but it's a country city. And how I felt the driving assessment was there's going to be a part of the road where there's like 3 lights. Okay. Luckily, I caught all 3 on green. The issue that happened was the 3rd light, the instructor wanted me to make a left. And so I put my left turn signal on and I merged over to the left, but I did it before the light. And it to me, it doesn't make sense, right? For why they would fail me for that. So I had to get a deeper, well, they don't tell you right there on the obstacle course. Like, she doesn't tell you there. She'll just, or the person would tell you when you get back to the yard. But when we got back to the yard, I'm thinking in my head, well, hell, I just did good. The instructor held on to their seat. They wasn't scared. I think I followed all the rules. And then they tell me, well, I'm sorry, but you didn't pass. You failed this course. And I was looking confused to why. And she explained that very thing to me that I just explained to you. And she said, yeah, what you're supposed to do is when I tell you to make a left or to prepare to make a left, you should have gotten the left lane immediately. Or if you weren't going to get in the left lane immediately, wait till after you cross the light and get into the left lane. And I thought to myself, I said, I've been in police for 13 years, right? And I'm not saying that I know the law back in my hand or anything, but it just didn't make sense to me. You guys see where I'm going with that? It just didn't make sense to what she was saying. But they failed me on that first one. So that's 1 down. So how Walmart works is you have to pass 1 pre-trip. You have to pass 3 drives and 3 backings, and then you're in. Okay? Even though you do pre-trip, backing, and driving every day, you have to pass 1 pre-trip and then 3 backings and 3 drives. So Tuesday, I didn't pass a drive. So that, I didn't get upset. I just questioned it. Like, that didn't make sense, but hey, they're an instructor. They want it done their way. Okay. Got to the backing course, right? And I struggled a little bit with it. I did. What they used to do is they used to show you how to do a setup, show you how to back. Now, here's the argument, and a lot of guys will probably agree with them. You're a professional driver. You should know how to get it in there. And that's very true, right? But here's the thing that Walmart or the instructors or people who make the rules don't understand. When I'm out there in the real world, backing into a tight situation, okay, places that are very hard to get into, I'm not timed, okay? It's not, and here's another thing too, right? They took when I came before 2 years ago, you had 20 minutes to back into the backing, right? Now they shut it down to 15 minutes. So they shut it down to 15 minutes, and they don't give you a preview of how to do it or how to do the setup. Okay, how to make you successful in that. So it's kind of like, okay, here you go. Go ahead and back it in there. Make sure and you guys are just going to love this one here, which this is new too. When you go to OnBoarding in Lawrence, South Carolina, you must use 4 points of contact when climbing in and out of the truck. And if you do not use 4 points of contact, they are going to write you up, and write you up and give you a counseling. Seriously, and I'm gonna explain that in a minute. Yeah, I explained it now. I was like, what? But there was a guy in the class, and he didn't use 4 points of contact. Now I know you guys are saying, well, Rich, what's 4 points of contact? You got to look, you got to grab with 2 hands and step with 2 feet. Okay, that's 4 points of contact. He only did 3 of those. And they pulled him into the office and they wrote him up. They said that if you do it again, you're going to be dismissed from this training. So they got a little more stricter, okay, which doesn't make sense to me. But hey, that Walmart does what they want to do. But anyway, the backing part, I ran into a problem because I couldn't get it in there the amount of time. Now, the backing is very tight. It is. And it's supposed to simulate a store backing. But here is one thing that Walmart probably doesn't understand. Because I've delivered to Walmart stores. You have more time than 15 minutes. Okay, any true truck driver that has a hard time backing in there's a couple things you do. One, you take your time, you get out and look. Okay, but it might take you more than 15 minutes to do that. Okay, but Walmart sets a standard, and that's what they want. So I didn't pass that part on the first day on Tuesday. Okay, no problems, over my head. Didn't get upset. Came to the pre-trip inspection, right? Did the pre-trip as it was presented to me, as I was shown, for as videos and stuff like that. When it came to the pre-trip inspection, Walmart used to walk you out there with multiple instructors and all your class guys out there, and they would say, "This is what we want you to do," and they would do a pre-trip inspection, and you pretty much copy that, right? But now they changed the rule. They don't do that. They just say, here you go. You got 30 minutes. Don't miss any of the majors. Now, they tell you there's 5 majors. Okay, let's see if I can name them. You got to do a tug test. You got to check all the tandems. You got to check the 5th wheel. You got to do your seat belt. And what's the other major? You got to make sure there's no daylight between the apron and the 5th wheel. Okay. Though, I mean, as long as you do, well, actually, you know what? Let me read them off the thing here. Okay. You got to do a tug test. You got to check your seatbelt. That's major number 2. You got to count 100 lug nuts. Okay. That's major number 3. You have to physically touch each lug nut and turn to the left. Okay. You got to inspect your 5th. You got to check your 5th wheel. And you got to do the kingpin sliders. You got to make sure the kingpins on both sides are pulled out when you do your pre-trip inspection, okay? But here's the deal, and this is what they changed. That's not true anymore. There's not 5 major things you need to be successful to pass your pre-trip. There's more like 10, okay? They added you must check the height and alignment. You must check the, what is this? You must latch the hood. You must, when you do the 5th wheel, right, you just can't say there's no daylight and the 5th wheel is connected to the apron, and you get underneath it and you say the kingpin is locked onto the locking mechanism. No, that's not acceptable. You also have to say the bolt is in and this and that. I mean, it's a lot, okay? And you're out there, you're already nervous. You know what I mean? You're kind of nervous because, you know, you're trying to pass, right? So where I was told I went wrong is when I was doing my 5th wheel inspection, I didn't tell the instructor the bolt was pushed in. Now, I'm going to tell you this. I did say that to him. The problem we had from Sunday to today, which is Wednesday, it was torrential downpour. Oh, that's another thing I got to tell y'all. If it rains, right, you're still out there. Now they're saying is, well, you're a truck driver. That's the life, you know, you chose and live. Okay, I get you. Okay, but it's not a light rain we had here in South Carolina. It was torrential downpour from Sunday to Wednesday, literally. Okay, and people had to buy those ponchos and stuff like that. They go to Walmart and get those cheap ones. While, the instructors are out in Walmart gear, that's top line, right? People are out there soaking wet, trying to do this pre-trip inspection with a plastic poncho wrapped around their head. So when I said my components, the instructor couldn't hear me because he didn't hear when I told him that the bolt was pushed in. Because I know I said that because I know how to do a pre-trip inspection. But he said he didn't hear me, and he said I didn't pass. So that's 3 fails in one day, okay? I came back to the hotel. I didn't get upset. I said, you know what? I get it done tomorrow. Get it done tomorrow. Came in this morning. It was pouring down, raining again. I was hoping that I didn't have to do the pre-trip inspection first. These things are random. But they actually pulled me in to do a backing, first one, right? About 8 o'clock this morning or 7:30 this morning. So I get out there. I do my setup. And I do my, ready to back it into the space. And I timed out. That's right. I literally put it into the hole. I was about to pop the brakes and get out and say, I'm completed. And I timed out. The hair instructor blew the whistle. Now here I thought I hit the trailer. No, it wasn't that. Just timed out. So what used to be 20 minutes is now 15 minutes. And you lose 5 minutes. And I timed out. So with that last timeout, it dismissed me from the program. That's right. It's Walmart is like Navy, it's like Buds, a Navy SEAL training. Actually, Buds, you got to ring yourself out. Okay? Here in Walmart, they check you out. So I was the first to go. I'm in class with my buddy, right? A guy that I'm working with. And he's still there. He told me when I left, 4 other guys left too. So now they're down to about 3 people. This morning when we showed up for a roll call, we were short one, so one guy just left in the middle of the night. He said, I'm not even dealing with this. And he left. So I didn't make Walmart again. How do I feel? I wasn't really stressed going into it. And I'm not stressed now. It sucks to not get something that you're going after. Do you understand? And, it just sucks. It does. I don't know how I feel, to be honest with you. Lately dealing with disappointment is just different for me these days, But that's the thing that changed about Walmart, okay? They don't really give you any preview. They don't really, give you a chance to have a practice day. So here's my thing, right? And this is my suggestion to Walmart. And this is what I said to the instructors when I was upstairs talking to them when they were telling me, yeah, you didn't make your weekends today. I said a couple of things. One, I said, because I asked one of the instructors before this all happened, I said, how many students did you have last week? And the guy said they had about 9. I said, so out of those 9, who all got hired? It was like only 2. And I said, so the week prior to that, he said, oh, yeah, 1 week we only had 1. And he said, 1 week we had none. So I said to myself, in order to be a Walmart truck driver, you need to have 3 years of clean driving. That means no accidents, no tickets. Okay, and so 3 years of clean driving pretty much makes you a pretty safe driver, okay, to the rest of the trucking community. But why are you guys making it so difficult that you're literally only hiring 3 or 4 people a month? Do you understand? Because it's only 4 weeks in a month. So if last week's class was 2, weeks before was 1, and the week before that was none, shouldn't it be, if this was a school, right, the blame would be put on the instructors because on the teachers. They would say, well, your students are not passing your classes. You have a 90% fail rate. There must be something in the way you guys are approaching that. But in trucking, I guess it's acceptable. I guess in Walmart standard, because they feel like they're the best company out here, okay? That they do that to people. You know, they do that. So I just said to the guys upstairs, I said, if I was in charge, which I'm not, but what I would do differently is maybe a 2, 2, and 2. 2 baggers need to be passed, 2 drives need to be passed, and 2 pre-trips need to be passed. Okay. Monday morning, you guys go over instruction. Tuesday, you let us go out there and do the obstacle course and evaluate us. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, go ahead and test. This, give people a chance to get comfortable with a situation. Because first of all, right, and I sat back and watched, people were nervous because they want the job. And as this trucking market gets more desperate, you're going to have more people nervous, just nervous and scared because they really want the job. Secondly, why would you, have expectations of drivers and especially if they're difficult from your standard and not go over those standards with them? That's the big thing. Okay. That's the big thing. Or not let them, practice your standards to get familiarized with them for one day. Okay. One day. Yes, we are professional truck drivers. I get the hype. Okay, but don't put too much thought in that. Okay? Because we are human beings just like you are. So, you have your nerves racked up, and then you have, people trying to make good so they can look good for the company. Okay? But that's what happened to me, y'all. So right now I'm in the hotel. I'm about to pack up my stuff and head back home. Luckily, and this is important. Don't quit your job coming to Walmart. My first time I came to Walmart 2 years ago, right? I told those people I quit. It cost me a heartache and pain. Okay? When I told them I was quitting, and then, I went through a whole spiel, them turning the fuel card off and coming to get the truck before I had a chance to get it back up there. And it was just a whole mess. Okay? But now I didn't do that to the company I'm with, which I was going to talk about if I pass, but I'm not. I'm going to wait till I'm gone from there to talk about them. All right. But, that's how it is. Also, what else do they do? That's basically it. It's the standard, it's how can you hold non-Walmart drivers to your standard? You know what I mean? Even with the driving part. Okay, we all have a way of doing how, like Walmart doesn't allow button hook turns. Okay, they don't allow that. But in the real world, okay, you do what you have to do to get that truck around that corner. Okay, and you obviously do it safe enough not to cause harm because you need 3 years of clean driving to do it. And it's crazy. You can go through this whole orientation this whole week, right? Do it the Walmart way they want you to do it. And when you get out there on your own, you go back to your regular habits. Because it takes more than a week to form a habit. I think the saying, it takes 30 to 40 days to form a habit. Okay? So, that's it. So the reason I'm putting this video out, and I hate to embarrass myself, but I guess you guys can poke fun. Have at it. I've been poking fun at other guys. You can poke fun at me. I didn't make it with Walmart. I was hoping to, but now here's a saving grace thing about it. Okay, you have 60 days to apply again. So I guess in October I can apply if I see another opening. Now, luckily, I live right in the smack of like 4 distribution centers. I was going to go work for the one in Welford, South Carolina, which is a new distribution center. It's a grocery store. But I live within reach of Shelby, Pageland, Mebane, Sutherland, Virginia, and who else? It's another one in there somewhere. Welford, and then another one. But I literally live in the smack of like 4 or 5 of them. So they're always hiring. So I'm not too upset about that. I'll try again, just because I'm not a quitter. Okay. I'll try to be sharper on the back end part of it. I mean, they want you to get that thing done fairly quickly, I guess. And I'm not going to say it's not impossible to do, but I feel like it's a little unrealistic. Okay, it is, because I've delivered to Walmart stores for the last 12 years. I have. I'm talking there's stores, not their distribution centers, but there are actual stores. Them and Sam's Club. Never ran into a problem like that before. Even at their distribution centers where they're about 5 or 6 football fields big, never ran into a problem like that. But then again, you understand when you're out there in the real world, you're not timed, okay? And you're not being evaluated, and you do the best you can. So that's what's going on with me, folks. I'm about to take me a nice hot shower. My bones are aching. I would tell anybody who's coming to onboarding to wear some sneakers and comfortable clothes and check the weather. It literally poured down raining the whole entire time. We were out there the whole entire time. Shocked somebody didn't get sick, but Walmart, they feel as though they're paying you. You gotta jump. So anyways, guys, like and subscribe and comment. Leave your comments and your poking of the fun and my comments. Maybe I need to be humbled a little bit, because that's what it really was. This thing was a humbling. It said, well, you're not the trucker that you think you might be, and it was a humbling experience. Now, one thing that I did talk about with one of my buddies, I was talking to him, I said, Walmart probably could show some grace. Do you know what I mean? The instructors could show some grace, because some things kind of were like, that's like my situation with the light, and it could have been a little grace, but whatever. Peace and love, y'all. Till next time, I'm back on the road in a few days. I'm taking some time off, man. I'm gonna make a video about owner operator and lease purchasing and why I'm trying to exit from it, which it's no secret. I mean, lease purchasing and owner operating right now is horrible. I'm going to talk about some of the conversations I had with a couple of guys who are in the class, and talk about some things we talked about. Because the truth is, trucking companies are closing down every day. I mean, you see Kara Fuller just checked out, and who else? Davis and all that. They're just closing down, leaving people without jobs. Trucking is, I don't think it's getting better. So Walmart knows this, and they're taking a little advantage. I think they are. Their idea, we want the best of the best, but even their best still makes mistakes. You know what I mean? It's that super trucker mentality thing going on here, and anyway, y'all. Peace and love, and we'll talk soon.